Hi everyone, you're watching Tamit Saleh's Tennis Forum, and the great Roger Federer is back after 14 months injury layoff, multiple surgeries. Wasn't it so great to see him back on the court having fun, laughing? There was a few clips of him where he had forgotten, let's say, to take the towel, etc. It was really good to see him back. And in this video we are going to look at his return, what we can expect from Roger, looking at his schedule for the rest of 2021, as well as what would be a good achievement at this age, because he's not young anymore. He's pushing 40 now, and it's remarkable that after all these years, almost 40 years old, coming back and winning against a top player. I mean, Dan Evans, world number 28. It's not like he was facing a world number 100 or something, a top 30 player. And for Roger Federer to come through in 3 sets, it was a very positive sign for Roger. Now, as always, if you haven't already, please do subscribe. It really does help the channel, which recently has been blowing up. Thank you. And please do leave a thumbs up if you enjoyed the last video. Please go and watch it if you haven't already. Hit over 500 thumbs up, which was absolutely amazing. So yeah, thank you all for your support. I really do appreciate it. Now, the first thing I should say is that let's try keep it respectful. Always there seems to be, whether it's Novak or Roger or Rafa, the opposing fans are all about, he's not the GOAT or my player's the GOAT. It's not about the GOAT. This is a video celebrating the return of a great tennis player, and yeah, let's just keep things respectful. This is not a GOAT debate. This is not the place for it in this video. But how great was it to see Roger back playing Dan Evans? He said in his post-match interview that he had practiced a lot with Dan over the past couple of weeks, and he said that they played over 20 sets, so they had been practicing quite a lot. However, they were practicing on a faster court. Doha seems to be a slower court, which means Federer had to construct the points a little bit more. So yeah, I'll go through what he said after the match in a little bit. Roger, as you know, his last match was the Australian Open semi-final against Novak Djokovic back in 2020. Feels like forever ago. And then, yeah, he was out for the rest of the year. Now, with the COVID pandemic and tennis coming to a halt for a few months, it did seem like, not in a bad way, but fairly good timing for Roger, because he wasn't playing anyway and his ranking was protected. And then even now with the whole 50% thing, it doesn't seem like Roger will fall out of the top 8, which is always important, because as long as you're in the top 8, you're not going to face the likes of a Novak Djokovic or a Rafa Nadal before the quarterfinals at least. And look, you want it to be at least the semi-finals, but falling outside the top 8, you could face them in the 4th round. So it's important to him to stay in the top 8, which I believe he will do so, because he's still well ahead of the rest. He has fallen to number 6. And no matter what result he gets this week in Doha, he cannot overtake Stefanos Tsitsipas for that number 5 spot. I mean, 5th, 6th is pretty much the same thing, unless one of the top guys gets injured, and then yeah. So before we look at Roger's schedule and what we can expect and what he can achieve, let's say, in the rest of his career, as you know, he beat Dan Evans 7-6. 3-6, 7-5, and I'm just going to read some of the things that he said after the match. So yeah, Roger on the on-court interview: "It feels good to be back. I am happy to be standing here regardless of if I won or lost, but obviously winning feels better. It was a good match. Dan played a good match too. He has been a wonderful training partner over the last 2 weeks. We played over 20 sets and he went on tonight. It has been a long and tough road for me. I enjoyed it though. It has been a huge challenge of mine in my tennis career, and to come back at my age is not something that is very simple. I have had a wonderful team around myself that always supported me throughout. That made it much easier, and it was worth it because I played a good match today." And I think that's a very interesting and crucial point he made at his age, which means he's pushing 40. By this point, many players would have retired. Many wouldn't have even reached this age, let alone come back on a victory. We've all seen the struggles Andy Murray has been facing. Now, I'm not going to compare which injury is worse, but Andy Murray, he's struggled to come back, finding his form, and this was a very impressive win for Roger, beating Dan Evans, who's no mug on the tennis court. I think it's as good as he could have wished for. Roger also saying that he didn't care if he lost or won. This is something that he's been saying a little bit throughout the week, really, that for him right now, it's not about winning or losing. He knows that he's on the road to recovery. Like myself, I'd be very surprised if he went on to win the entire tournament. Of course, I'm not going to put it past someone like Roger, but right now for him it's a build up to Wimbledon, and that's something he's said, that his goal is to, let's say, peak and get to full fitness, full form for Wimbledon. And looking at his schedule, it does seem like it is going that way. We'll quickly go through Roger's schedule. Now look, this is all subject to change. He could, let's say, crash out now in Doha. Things happen. So he's playing in Doha, and then he's scheduled to play in Dubai straight the following week. This, I believe, if Roger goes to the final of Doha, he probably won't play in Dubai. Of course, they're both in the Emirates, so it's not really much of a journey there. Makes a lot of sense. He's not playing Miami, which I also feel is a bit too soon for Roger to play. However, maybe if he won in Doha, didn't take part in Dubai, then potentially could play Miami. I don't know. And then he's not included a single clay tournament in his schedule. So straight after Dubai, he's actually got March, April, May, June. So he's got about 3 months off. And then his next scheduled tournament is Halle, followed by Wimbledon, and the only other 2 scheduled tournaments are the Olympic Games and the US Open. This is quite interesting. I don't think Roger should play any tournaments in the clay, especially coming back from the knee injury. And let's be honest, he's probably not going to win the French Open again. So it doesn't make any sense for him to play the clay. Now, there is that 3 months off, which I don't think is good for him either. So he'll need to find some sort of tennis to play in those months. Let me know what you think. Should Roger play in the clay but maybe not give everything? Is 3 months off as scheduled too big a break? But I think he will play more tournaments in that time. Looking at the Doha draw, his next opponent is Basilashvili in the quarterfinal, followed by a potential matchup against Denis Shapovalov in the semi-final, and then of course Dominic Thiem is the likely final opponent, although it could be Andrei Rublev. He's actually not played a single match and he's in the quarterfinals. He's had a walkover in the previous round against Richard Gasquet. I wouldn't put it completely past Roger to win Doha, but I would be surprised if he had one. So what do you guys think is his goal for the rest of the year, and what do you think is a good comeback and good end of career? So for me, if I had to say, I think Roger's goal for the rest of 2021 is just to get back on form and have a good run in Wimbledon. I don't think he expects to win Wimbledon. I think if he reached the semi-finals, maybe even the quarterfinals, he'd be fairly happy with that, coming back from a 14-month layoff. I think you need to have your expectations not too high, because coming back at 40 with this injury, I can't stress this enough, he's not going to come back winning everything straight away. A lot of comparisons perhaps to his 2017 season, where he had that 6-month layoff, came back and had an amazing comeback year in 2017. But I think 4 years on now, it's been a 14-month layoff. We can't expect the same sort of comeback. I think for the rest of his career, what would be a good achievement for Roger, I think winning one more slam. I think he would take that right now, because it's not going to be easy winning slams. In the year he's been away, players have stepped up. People like Medvedev, Dominic Thiem, Tsitsipas, even Zverev, he reached the US Open final. Players are stepping up, so it's going to be harder for Roger. And then he also has the whole Novak Djokovic, Rafa Nadal situation. The French Open's completely out the window, so he's really got 3 slams to aim at. I think, one more slam for Roger. I think he will be very happy for that. Well, let me know what you think. Do you think Roger can win one more slam? Do you think he'll win more than one slam? Now, I'd be very surprised if he won more than one slam. I'd be relatively surprised if he won one more slam, because I think it's unlikely. I think Wimbledon this year, perhaps, if he has a unbelievable run, and if someone like Novak crashes out early or is in the other half of the draw, Wimbledon next year would probably be his last chance he'd be 40, pushing 41 next year. I think that would be his last chance to win Wimbledon. But yeah, that's my thoughts on his comeback. What would make a good comeback? Please do let me know what you think. If you're a Roger fan, what are your expectations? What are your hopes? And how many more years can Roger keep going? I remember back in 2012 when he had played the Olympics and lost the final to Andy Murray, that gold medal match. I was thinking he's not going to reach Rio in 2016. And he, at the time, had said he plans to play in Rio. And I was thinking he's not going to reach Rio. Not only did he reach Rio, he's now reached Tokyo, which is now a year later than it should have been, in 2021. And at this point, I don't even know where the next Olympics is. potentially could play, but I think this Olympics is probably his last chance to win the gold medal, even though it's relatively slim. But you never know. After, you know, sometimes a rest, or let's say a off period like this can be some good. And to end this video, we'll just go through a little bit more on what Roger said. I was very happy with how I was able to handle the tough moments. I didn't feel like my game started to wobble. The more important the points got, I think I was able to play how I wanted to. So I think that's always a great sign and great feeling to have. In practice, it doesn't matter if you miss a backhand down the line. Of course, he won the match with the backhand down the line, and there were many moments in that match where you could see the Federer magic. So yeah, there were moments like that, but then there were also some, let's say, funnier moments. Even Roger laughed at some of the, let's say, mistiming of shots in the match. But overall, it was a good display from Roger. I think not serving any double faults in my first match back over 2 hours and 20 minutes. I think that's a sign that the knee is doing really well on the serve, which I think is crucial. I was really excited and happy with the way I played. Dan was a tough first round. He was, I thought, but the good thing was I practiced with him the past couple of weeks, so I really knew what to expect. And then it just goes on. I am incredibly grateful that I was able to play on my return in front of somebody, and the fans were good. They were into it. In the tiebreak, they were really getting into it. After a while, I didn't even feel anymore that there were less people than normal in the stadium, because you're in the zone, and it went very well for me. I'm very appreciative for everyone who came out to support tennis tonight. I think a lot of people came out to support Federer tonight. Of course, wherever Roger goes, essentially it's the home crowd for him. Everyone just loves Roger. He's a globally loved icon of the sport, and I think no matter who you support, you have to respect the popularity that Roger has rightfully gained over the years. And you know, it was great to have the fans. Hopefully things will slowly start getting back to normal. I'm fairly optimistic that the worst of coronavirus has passed us now, and we can get back to some sort of normality very soon. But yeah, this wraps up the video. Welcome back to Roger Federer. Do leave your thoughts on your expectations, and also what you think would make a good comeback for Roger in 2021 and also beyond. As always, if you enjoy this video, if you enjoy tennis in general and like hearing what I have to say, please do subscribe. It really does help the channel. Turn that notification bell on if you haven't already, and I will see you guys very, very soon.